So here we are, a couple days after Christmas. We assumed this would be the first time life slowed down. We were actually so prepared for that we weren't sure we were going to have a lot of really unique content to actually upload videos to our YouTube channel. We were thinking we were going to take a couple days off here after Christmas, at least the 26th, 27th, maybe the 28th, until the weekend came around, and then we were going to have some fun plans of things we could do with the kids and video and then share with you all. But here, midweek, we have an interesting thing happening. Yesterday, we got a phone call from the Osceola News-Gazette. Most of you are like, what is that? It's the local newspaper. One of our friends, thank you Kelly Trace very much, reached out to the editor at the local newspaper and told him a little bit about our story. And he had someone call us last night and reach out to us about maybe doing a little editorial in the newspaper about us, a little story in the newspaper. We don't know what capacity, or it's not going to make front page news or anything, but it's kind of cool that we might get to share our story with our community through the local newspaper. So we have a representative of the newspaper calling us here in about 20 minutes just to talk to us, and we figured we'd actually let you hear a little bit of what that sounds like as we get to share some of our story. One of the great responsibilities we have felt, and the ways we have actually felt honored, is the way in which we have been able to connect with other people who are interested in adoption and share our story and encourage them to actually adopt. And this might just be another opportunity for us to do that, to put our story out there, to help people understand that adoption isn't all sad stories, it isn't all a struggle, and even when it is a struggle, it is a glorious, happy struggle. It's worth struggling for, and that the light at the end of the tunnel is glorious and happy and good. We've gotten Facebook messages, Instagrams, we've gotten private messages through Twitter, and tons of comments on our videos of people who have basically said, I want to adopt, I just don't know a lot about it. Can you tell me more? And we've been able to answer questions about, what people can expect when they start their journey. There's a lady who contacted us through YouTube, and she said, I'm getting ready to travel to India myself, and she's adopting a little girl, and she said, what should I pack? And Melanie knows, oh my goodness, it is daunting and stressful to try and bring everything and not forget anything. Packing is one of the less fun parts of traveling to get your child from a foreign country. Anyway, so we're going to reach out to this lady and help her through that step. And it's amazing how we're getting the opportunity through this channel to help other people, whether they're in the very beginning and they're just barely thinking about adoption, or they are dead set on it and are having trouble getting the courage to take that final step and submit the application to your local agency, or they are about to travel, or they are coming home and they have questions about bonding and attachment. We're part of a Facebook group that is all post-adoption from India families, and it's amazing how this group is just a support group of people who are dealing with some pretty difficult situations, and it's just amazing to see parents supporting and caring for each other. Parents of multiple backgrounds, colors, languages, just all going through something common, and it's just an amazing support group. And right now, we're luckily in the position to be able to lend support, and at some point, we may be the ones needing support as we deal with different issues, maybe down the road with Cadence. We don't know what life will bring, and we don't know if she may have some hiccups in her adjustment or attachment, and we thought it would just be family and friends being the ones to really encourage us. And it is amazing how God has used strangers, complete strangers, to let us know that we are right where we belong. And even if sometimes it's confusing and strange and joyous and trying and exhausting, it's like God's reminding us through all these experiences that we are just right where we belong. And today's talk with a representative of the local newspaper who wants to hear our story is no less a sign from God that we are right where we belong. We just can't wait to share that story with another person and maybe people throughout our county. This is really cool.
Just to kind of start out, kind of fill me in as far as, this last month, what kind of process you guys have gone through to adopt your daughter. and then we can kind of take it from there. I have a bunch of questions lined up, but kind of an introduction would be good.
Wow, in the last month, our lives have gone through a lot of changes. So we had to fly to India for 2 weeks to bring her home, and we left on a Friday.
Black
And
Friday.
yeah, we left on Black Friday of all days, and we picked her up from the orphanage that Monday, just a few days later. It was that quick of a transition.
Wow.
And when you go to the orphanage, you meet the little girl, and they give you as much background information as they can, and send you off with as much as they can. But in that small amount of time, you have a daughter, and she's all yours in your full custody. And the rest of our time in the country was spent getting her visa, going through a medical appointment process, and getting our exit permits to be able to leave.
So, I mean, that sounds like a awesome process for, I'm assuming you guys have been kind of looking to adopt for a while now. What made you decide to look into adopting from India?
We originally were talking about adoption 4.5 years ago. And we decided that we have all boys and that a girl would be fun. So we decided to adopt, and we watched a film called It's a Girl. And it's just terrible because of government or because of the dowry system. Girls aren't valued, and girls, they either terminate birth, or right after they deliver, they kill them in ways that are just horrific.
In many parts of the world over there, it's sometimes illegal to find out the gender of your child before the child's born, because so many people will terminate the child if she's a girl.
Oh, what a shame.
Girls are terminated, and if they are born, they're tossed aside. They're left on a doorstep of an orphanage, or that they're not wanted. And having only boys, we of course we would want a little girl. When we heard about that, it touched our hearts, and then we knew it was either going to be China or India, and it ended up being India. And another book that impacted us greatly was a book titled Orphanology by Tony Merida. That book really touched our hearts, and we're Christians, and we've read James 1:27, that true religion, worship in action is taking care of the orphan and the widow. But we had never understood that verse the way we did until we read Orphanology. That book alone really stirred our hearts toward adoption, so much so that I was reading it to her while we were traveling on the road back from vacation. And the moment we got home, we started looking up adoption agencies. It was that quick that we felt stirred toward adoption. And within a couple of months, we had chosen India, and that was 4 years ago. So we've been in the process for 4 years.
When you guys went over to India, the process was, so smooth and quick. What was why did it take 4 years to get to that point?
There were just many hiccups for our family along the way. The normal family does not have to go through that type of waiting process. We started the process and didn't realize we were 8 weeks along with the pregnancy of our then youngest child. So,
Wow.
India wants you to, they would prefer that you wait till that child's born. And unfortunately for us, they don't actually have that written anywhere in their policies. So our agency moved forward with us as if we qualified for India adoption. And then we found out about a year and a half into the waiting game that they wanted us to wait even longer, because they wanted us to wait till Timothy was 2 years old. So
Wow.
that set us back a lot. At the time, we actually discussed changing countries, but we went back to the book Orphanology. We went back to the scriptures. We went back to It's a Girl, the movie, and we had a conversation, and we said, just because the timeline has changed, that doesn't change the reason we want to do this. We still feel called to India. We feel called to do something, or at least our little part, about the gendercide crisis, and we still felt a specific burden for India. So we just decided to wait instead of changing to a country that would have let us adopt sooner.
So how, I know you said your littlest one is still pretty small, but how did you feel when, you told the other two boys, like, hey, you're going to be getting a sister, she's from India, this is going to be a big transition for the family? What was kind of their reaction?
All good.
They're really excited.
Amazing. And, because when we decided to adopt, Caleb was 4 years old. And we told him way back then when he was 4. So he has been, in his mind, waiting just as long as we have and praying with us just as long as we have. As soon as we could, we started talking to Logan about Cadence, and, they knew her name long before she ever came to our family. So they have been praying for Cadence every night at every meal and every night before bedtime for years. And I think that's part of why her transition coming home was so great on the part of our boys, because they've already been adjusted to her. They've been thinking about her for so long that having her home feels very natural. It doesn't feel foreign. She's already had a place in their heart for years now.
What made you guys decide to do a YouTube channel?
We had seen some other families who were doing YouTube channels, and we thought it was just a really neat idea.
How to capture memories and things that you don't want to forget.
Yeah, we all take home videos, right? Or we at least try to remember to hit record on certain major occasions. And we realized that it was a really neat way to take home videos and make sure you're capturing things that otherwise you'd really forget, because we all hit record on Christmas morning. We all hit record on birthdays, but there's so many sweet memories on every day in between. We realized that we were letting a lot of life go by without capturing all these precious moments, and simple moments too. There's another aspect of just being able to share our very normal life with other people, and show them that Christians are normal people with normal struggles, with imperfect children. We are toiling through this life just like anyone else. Being a Christian doesn't mean you have your act together. It just means you're saved by the grace of God alone, and that you're just trying to figure out life and everything that comes with it, just like anyone else is. We kind of just wanted to show them that we're normal people too, I guess.
It kind of sounds like maybe more videos became devoted to kind of the process you guys were going through.
Yep, yeah. We started to realize that there were different storylines happening in our family, and one of them is the adoption. So we created like a playlist for each storyline. Those storylines are all available because they're all part of who we are. And then certainly in the last month, the adoption has been the primary storyline.
Both on the YouTube channel and in real life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.